And in the first fight on the fight card, we have a really good women's lightweight fight right here. We got Helena Gosik and Taylor Guardardo. You look at the record right there, doesn't really look too good. You see 0 wins, 1 loss, does not look too good. You probably are wondering, why do they even invite her to the PFL if she has a record of 0 wins and 1 loss? Well, earlier in her career, back in 2011, in her amateur MMA career, did really, really good, going 9-1, beating Raquel Pennington, Amanda Bell, Ashley Evans Smith, Autumn King, fighting Ronda Rousey. She was doing really, really good back in 2010 and 2011. Joined back in MMA in 2010, got 2 wins, both by decision, then lost 1 fight right here. Instead of Invicta FC, but she does have some really, really good striking as well. 29 and a half years old. When she fought way back in 2011, she was only like 18, 19 years old. I mean, fighting Ronda Rousey that young, absolutely insane. But she's fighting an absolute beast right here. I've watched so much film on this girl, and her nickname definitely fits her right. She's a cannon of her hands. I mean, she's so powerful, and has some pretty good submission skills as well. But she will have the size advantage right here, moving up from the featherweight to the lightweight division, whereas Taylor Guardardo is moving up from the bantamweight division all the way up to the lightweight division. But Helena goes at 5 wins, 2 losses. Every single one of her wins coming by finish, 3 knockout wins, 2 submission wins, first knockout win, second round submission, first round knockout win, and first round knockout win. I mean, 25 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 seconds, and 48 seconds, all of her knockout wins coming in the very first round. Then fought Pan Sorensen and then Felicia Spencer. But in the fight with Felicia Spencer, she looked really, really good in the striking game. But as you guys know, Felicia Spencer has a really good wrestling and a really good takedowns and submission skills and ground and pound as well. Getting the submission in the second round. But in the striking game with Felicia Spencer, I mean, she looked amazing, landing so many good shots. I mean, she was piecing up Felicia Spencer on the feet, but in the grappling, obviously had the disadvantage in that fight. But obviously, Helena Gosik is going to be the boxer in this one. 100% of her fights being finishes, 4 coming by knockout and 1 coming by rear naked choke submission. 0 of the fights going all the way. She's trying to get those finishes in this tournament right here. You know that the PFL has a little bit of scoring where you get 6 points if you finish the fight in the first round, like 4 points in the second round, and like 1 point in the third round, something like that. But you get a lot of extra points to the tournament if you finish the fight. And Helena Gosik is one of those girls who has a very good shot. I've actually finishing the fight right here. Not the best submission defense in her last 2 losses, being submitted in the first and second round, but she's so strong in the clinch and has some pretty good takedowns of her own, and solid trip takedowns against the cage. If she gets you down, man, she's got some really, really good ground and pound, and that's the main way she wins her fights. She either knocks your opponent down in the striking game or takes her down near the cage and then lands the amazing ground and pound shots at TKOing her opponent in the first or second round. And good knees in the clinch, very, very good jab to straight left. She's a left-handed fighter and has a really, really good, powerful straight left hand and really good right hand counter. She goes like this when her opponent is going for the right hand. She goes like this and then goes for that right hand. She's very, very powerful, really good straight left and a really good right hand counter. Solid takedown defense as well. We saw in her last fight with Felicia Spencer, she did defend quite a lot of Felicia Spencer's takedowns, but ultimately ended up losing the fight by submission. But really good takedown defense and amazing boxing from Helena Gosik in most of her fights so far outside of the PFL. Taylor Guardardo, I mean, she's not really too good. Coming back into MMA just recently. I watched a couple of her last fights. She did not look at all like she did way back in 2011. She really fell off in my opinion. She does not look at all as good as she did way back in the day. She's gonna have a humongous size disadvantage moving up from bantamweight to the lightweight division, which is 20 pounds up in the weight class. Good fake takedown to straight right hand, which means she goes down for the double leg and then stands up and then goes for the right hand. She lands that pretty well in most of her fights. Striking in her last fight inside of Invicta FC honestly did not look too good. I mean, in this fight with Helena Gosik, I mean, she's gonna piece her up in the striking game 100%. I believe if the fight stays on the feet, it's gonna be a very good opportunity for Helena Gosik to get a knockout or a TKO on Taylor Guardardo, because honestly, she did not look good in the striking game whatsoever in her last fight inside of Invicta FC. Much smaller in the high and reach department as well. Again, giving her yet another disadvantage in the striking game. wrestling, and then not really the best wrestling or grappling skills as well. So, to be honest, I mean, Helena Gillespie has a really good takedown defense, a really good powerful jabs to straight lefts, good knees in the clinch, a really strong fighter. She's a finisher 100%, has a lot of knockouts, a lot of submission wins. I mean, there's just no way I'm not going to go with Helena Gillespie. I mean, her boxing is so good. Her clinch is so good. Her takedown defense is so good. So, every factor is pointing towards me to believe that Helena Gillespie is going to win the fight, probably by knockout or TKO in the first or second round. I know she wants those points because if she wins the fight and then wins one fight after that, if it just so happens that other fighters in this PFL tournament get finishes in the very first round, she could not be even able to go to the playoffs. So she's going to want to go out there and get a finish in the first or second round. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen over here. Helena Gillespie is going to dominate her in the striking game. Either getting knocked out or get a takedown, get her down, and ground and pound the heck out of Taylor Guardardo. And in my opinion, I think Helena Gillespie is going to dominate the fight wherever the fight goes. Thinking a TKO win in the first or second round. It should be a really good fight. Who knows? Taylor Guardardo could look a lot better. That last fight was 2 years ago instead of Invicta FC. Sorry, 1 year ago instead of Invicta FC. But just not really impressive in my opinion. And I think Helena Gillespie is going to have the advantage pretty much everywhere in the fight. So I'm definitely going Helena Gillespie to win the fight by first or second round TKO. After that, guys, we have a really good women's lightweight fight. Caitlin Young and Cindy Dandois, completely different fighters right here. Caitlin Young, 100% going to be the striker, 11 wins, 10 losses, and 1 draw. Not really the best record is right here, almost a losing record so far, but she does have a lot of power in her hands, with 8 knockout wins and 3 decision wins, fighting some really good competition in her career so far, beating Misha Tate, fighting Gina Carano, fighting Jennifer Tate, fighting, who was the other person? Leslie Smith, Liz Carmouche, Leslie Smith again, Lauren Murphy, I mean, Raquel Nakanuto, all these girls inside of the UFC, inside of Invicta FC, Pam Sorensen as well. She's fought a lot of really good competition, and so has Cindy Dandois. They're both 36 and 35 years old. A little bit of a reach advantage and a little bit of a height advantage there for Caitlin Young in the fight. But Cindy Dandois, her wrestling, her grappling skills, amazing. She gets you down, she submits you, she TKOs you, whatever the case may be. Coming off of 4 submission wins in a row. Second round arm lock, first round triangle, and a first round rear naked choke submission. Fighting girls like Alexis Davis, Tanya Evinger, and Yana Kuniskaya. And then beating Sheila Gaff at the beginning of her MMA career. You look right here, 5 knockout wins, 8 submission wins, and only 2 fights going all the way. She is also a finisher. Both fighters have a lot of wins coming by knockout and a lot of wins coming by submission. I think 100% in my opinion, this fight is like a 40% chance, possibly a 50% chance that one of these 2 girls I'm gonna say knockout in terms of Caitlin Young, or we're gonna say submission win in terms of Cindy Dandois. Both girls have a really good wrestling, really good submission skills, and a really good power in their hands. But you look at Caitlin Young, obviously going to be the striker in the fight. Going to want to keep the fight on the feet 100%. She will have the advantage. She has a lot of power in her hands with 8 knockout wins so far. 0 submissions though. She doesn't really show much of a submission or grappling game in her fight so far. If you look at how she's losing her fights, it's mainly to really good grapplers like Pam Sorensen. Lauren Murphy's a really good is a decent grappler. Liz Carmouche, a decent grappler as well. Most of the losses that she's gotten to really good wrestlers, really good grapplers, just taking her down, ground and pounding her and getting the submission win. So that is definitely going to be a disadvantage for Caitlin Young in the fight, considering Cindy Dandois is a really good wrestler and a very good grappler. I mean, you look at Cindy Dandois, a lot of experience. I mean, I already went over all the girls she's fought. I mean, Megan Anderson in her last fight, absolutely insane. Amazing judo and jiu-jitsu skills as well. Getting her 8 submission wins on her record so far. Those judo and jiu-jitsu skills are going to play a humongous factor in this fight 100%. She's actually trained by a former world judo champion and amazing at getting you down, smashing you, and then submitting you. I mean, she's so good with her judo skills, with her wrestling, with her submission skills, decent striking skills, but obviously just trying to use those striking to get the fight in the clinch and ultimately get the takedown and then try to get the submission or the TKO on the ground. Main way to win the fight, grapple, wrestle, and then get the submission win. So either way, I think Caitlin Young has a humongous chance to get a knockout with a right hand in the fight. And then Sidney Dandois has a humongous chance to get the fight to the ground, get the fight in the clinch, get the fight down as soon as possible, then get a submission or a TKO win in the first or second round. I think it's very, very likely we see a finish right here. Probably 50-50 in my opinion, but overall, I think the fight will go all the way. And Sidney Dandois, amazing wrestling, amazing grappling. I think she will get the fight to the ground as soon as possible, get her down and ground and pound and grapple for 3 straight rounds. And ultimately, I have Sidney Dandois winning the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. Amazing heavyweight fight right here. I want to say it right now, I do not agree with these Tapology predictions. You look right here, 97% going Ante De Liha to win the fight, mainly by KO, and then a lot of people have me winning the fight by unanimous decision. I'm going to say right now, I do not agree with that big of a swing going for Ante De Liha to win the fight. Obviously, I'm going to be going with Ante De Liha to win the fight, but if you look at Bruno Henrique Cabazola, never count out this man. 10 wins, 5 losses, and out of those 10 wins, first a knockout, third a knockout, and every single one of his wins coming by knockout win. 10 knockout wins on his record. I encourage you, look up the fight with Jiri Prochazka. I mean, he ended up rocking Jiri and ended up almost knocking out Jiri with a jab. He has so much power in his hands, ended up losing the fight by first a knockout. He either gets a knockout or himself gets knocked out. You look right here, 2 knockout losses, 2 submission losses, and then 1 DQ loss. So every single one of his fights, win or loss, being a finish in the first or second round. Absolutely insane. But Ante De Liha, I'm going to have a height advantage and a reach advantage in the fight, and definitely is going to be having a size advantage in the fight, being a natural heavyweight fighter, whereas Bruno Henrique Cabazola is moving up from the light heavyweight to the heavyweight division. Ante De Liha has 17 wins and 3 losses. Also has a really good striking, really good power in his hands, really good ground and pound as well, and some really good submission skills as well. 7 submission wins, 6 knockout wins, and 4 decision wins. Recently coming off a second round knockout win, a decision win, and another decision win over Ricardo Prasel, only losing to Marcin Arbora by leg injury, and then 1 submission win right here to Dennis Moldariev and then Ian Starling right there. Both fighters with really good power in their hands, really good ground and pound from the both of them, but the wrestling and grappling advantage will be going to Ante De Liha 100%. The power advantage in terms who's most likely going to get a knockout in the striking game would definitely be Bruno Henrique Cabazola. I mean, 10 out of 10 knockout wins, absolutely insane. But I mean, they're both beasts. I mean, I put right here, Ante De Liha, he's just an absolute beast. So really good wrestling, really good jiu-jitsu, really good submission skills as well, and a really good power in his hands. I mean, 7 submission wins already on his record. You think that's really surprising, because everyone looking at this fight is thinking either Ante De Liha by TKO or knockout, or Bruno Henrique Cabazola by KO or TKO, but most of his wins coming by submission, which was very surprising in my opinion, but very super strong and super powerful as well. Over the top right is one of his best strikes. Really good power. Vicious ground and pound as well. An amazing hammer fist on the ground. Very strong and really good wrestling and grappling skills as well. Bruno Henrique Cabazola is definitely going to be a striker. Trying to get the fight on the feet for the most part and get a knockout in the first or second round. Really hard, fast left hooks. Almost knocked out Jiri Prochazka with it. Usually a lot of feints as well to time his shots a little bit better. This is a really good overhand right as well. All of his wins coming by knockout, absolutely insane. Not the best takedown defense. That is the one thing where I give the humongous advantage to Ante De Liha in the wrestling and grappling game, because Bruno Henrique Cabazola doesn't really have the wrestling and grappling to defend the takedowns from Ante De Liha, and the ground and pound of Ante De Liha, absolutely insane. But really good outside calf kicks as well, and a super powerful jab, as I said, almost knocking out Jiri Prochazka with it. But again, I don't agree with those Tapology predictions of 97% going to Liha, because there's a humongous chance and that Bruno goes out there and gets yet another knockout win. I will be going with Ante De Liha to ultimately win the fight, but that's not going to be for his striking. He obviously has some really good striking skills as well, but I think his wrestling, his strength, his grappling, everything like that is going to play a humongous factor here, and Ante De Liha is going to grapple and wrestle and ground and pound and go for some submissions as well in this fight. Get Bruno Henrique Cabazola down as soon as possible and ground and pound the heck out of Bruno Henrique Capozola with elbows, with hammer fists, with the right hands on the ground. I think that's going to be a humongous factor for Ante De Leon in the fight. So much power, so much ground and so much strength and wrestling and grappling from Ante De Leon. So I ultimately will be going Ante De Leon by second round TKO. But again, do not bet on Ante De Leon, especially when you get a knockout artist like Bruno Henrique Capozola on the other side of things, who has so much power in his hands. So ultimately, I will be going with Ante De Leon to win the fight by second round TKO. But do not bet on this fight. That is the only advice I will give for that fight right there. I'll definitely have Ante De Leon winning that fight 100%. After that fight, we have a women's lightweight fight. Larissa Pacheco, probably the only one who really stands a chance in this lightweight tournament against Kayla Harrison. But Larissa Pacheco and Julia Pajic. This fight is a lightweight fight right here. Larissa Pacheco, 26.5 years old, very tall and very lengthy for the division. But you look at Julia Pajic, talk about tall and lengthy. 6 foot tall for the lightweight division. Absolutely insane. She's so tall, so lengthy as well. 3 wins and 0 losses. Really, really strong. And only 23 years old. Absolutely insane. 2 knockout wins in the very first round. And then a first round triangle armbar submission. Larissa Pacheco, really good wrestling, really good grappling as well. And then some decent striking as well. 8 submission wins. Only 1 decision win on her record. And then 4 knockout wins. Out of her losses, 2 knockout losses, 1 submission loss, and 2 decision losses. Those 2 decision losses coming in really, really back and forth fights against Kayla Harrison. Also fighting girls like Macy Chiasson, Jermaine Durandamy, and Jessica Andrade. Absolutely insane. This fight is going to be a really, really good fight, 100%. Larissa Pacheco, a grappler with very, very solid striking, amazing submission skills with a guillotine, a triangle, and a couple of armbars from the bottom, but very good submission skills from the bottom from Larissa Pacheco. Good power in the hands, 100%. Knocking out a top 15 bantamweight fighter in the world, and Irene Aldana at the beginning of her MMA career. You look back here, Irene Aldana's first ever loss by third round knockout right there. Absolutely insane. A very good straight right hand. That is her main weapon in the striking game. Good pressure as well. If she gets your back to the cage, she's gonna unload on strikes and ultimately end up landing that big right hand and maybe possibly end up getting the knockout in the first or second round. But really good striking and really good pressure in her fights, and it has some pretty decent cardio as well. Going 5 straight rounds with Kayla Harrison a couple of years ago. She is a blue belt in BJJ and very, very good top control in her wrestling. Really nice uppercuts as well, but she kind of counters those uppercuts when her opponents come to her. She just goes for the uppercut, and especially in the clinch with the knees to the body and then the uppercuts down the middle. Julia Pajic is definitely going to be a striker. Very, very tall for the division, at 6 foot tall exactly, which is just, I mean, it is absolutely insane. I've never seen anyone in this division over 6 foot tall. Absolutely insane. Solid inside leg kicks and body kicks. Very susceptible to straight right hands. That is one thing I saw when watching some of Julia Pajic's film. She's very, very susceptible to the straight right hands, and that is one of Larissa Pacheco's main weapons in the striking game. So that is going to be a humongous advantage for Larissa Pacheco in the striking game right here. Not the best wrestling and not the best grappling skills. Mainly just trying to keep the fight on the feet and getting knockout or a TKO in her fight. So I think overall Larissa Pacheco will have the wrestling advantage, the striking advantage, and ultimately landing a lot of good straight right hands in the fight. But I think the striking will be very, very even. Haven't really got to see much of Julia Pajic's striking, only having 3 professional MMA fights, but showing some really good power, really good kickboxing, really good body kicks, really good leg kicks as well. But I think the striking will be very, very even, with the clear wrestling and grappling skills and advantages going to Larissa Pacheco 100%. I mean, her wrestling and grappling is going to be a humongous advantage here. So I think Larissa Pacheco, honestly, is just going to wrestle and grapple Julia Pajic in the fight. Maybe kind of feel out the striking and see if she does have the advantage or if she does have the disadvantage in the striking game. But overall, I think ultimately she will go back to that wrestling and grappling in the fight, using her blue belt in BJJ to kind of dominate Julia Pajic in the grappling and wrestling game. So I think overall Larissa Pacheco will dominate the fight wherever the fight goes. And I think she will get the fight to the ground and get a submission in the first or second round. Haven't really seen the best submission skills from Julia Pajic or the best wrestling skills from Julia Pajic. So I think Larissa Pacheco will get her down in the first round, dominate her in the first round. In the second round, get a rear and naked choke submission and get get that win in the second round of this fight by second round submission. But definitely had Larissa Pacheco win in that fight 100%. After that, guys, I am super excited for this one right here. Justin Willis and Dennis Goltsov. This is a heavyweight fight. Two really powerful punchers. And then honestly a decent wrestler and a decent grappler in Dennis Goltsov. I mean, he has 10 submission wins, 10 knockout wins, and 5 decision wins. Absolutely insane right there. I mean, you look right here, 10 knockouts, 10 submissions, and 5 decision wins. Out of his losses, 3 knockout losses and 3 submission losses. He either finishes you or gets a finish in his fights. You look at his last couple of fights, looked really good against Ali Isaev. I feel really bad because he was winning the entire fight against Ali Isaev. But you look right here, 1 second left in the fight. I mean, I feel bad, man. 1 second left, gets knocked out. Absolutely insane. Before that, doing really good with 3 wins in a row. A first knockout win, a second round, Ezekiel choke, submission win. Absolutely insane. And then a decision win after that. Really good chokes and really good power in his hands and feet with really good head kicks. You look down the list, you see a head kick knockout win. Head kick knockout win. I believe there's one more head kick knockout win. Really solid head kicks and body kicks in some of his fights so far. This is his only spinning back fist knockout win, but every single fight he goes out there and he seems like he's going for a spinning back kick, going for a spinning back kick, a spinning back fist, whatever the case may be. The man, he's just such an elusive striker, 100%, and also has some really good wrestling and grappling skills as well. Justin Willis is 33 years old, a little bit smaller, but a humongous reach advantage and very kickboxing skills from Justin Willis. Very big in the heavyweight division, 100%. 8 wins and 2 losses. Started off his career with a record of 4 wins and 1 losses, 4 knockout wins and 4 decision wins. Joining the UFC in 2017, getting a decision win, a first round knockout win over Alan Crowder, a decision win again over Mark Hunt, and then losing to Curtis Blades in a dominant grappling and wrestling, grinding performance from Curtis Blades in the fight. But overall, this fight is going to be an amazing heavyweight fight. I really do hope this fight stays in the feet because I want to see how good of the striking Dennis Goltsov is going to have in the striking game with Justin Willis. Considering that reach advantage that he's gonna be possessing in the fight, but it's gonna be a really good fight right here between Dennis Goltsov and Justin Willis, 100%. But Dennis Goltsov, an MMA fighter, can strike and grapple both very well. I mean, I don't know what type of fighter specifically, if he's a Muay Thai, if he's a kickboxer, if he's a grappler, BJJ, whatever the case may be. Honestly, he's just an MMA fighter all around. Everywhere you look at him, he's a solid fighter in every facet of the game. Definitely a finisher with 10 knockout wins and 10 submission wins out of 25 wins on his record. So 80% of his wins not going all the way. Former ACB heavyweight champion, amazing kickboxing skills and deadly body kicks and crazy head kick KO so far. Really good submissions as well. Really good chokes. I mean, the Ezekiel choke is out of the PFL. Absolutely insane. Very tall for the division, but it's gonna have a little bit of a solid a solid reach disadvantage for Justin Willis in the fight, but very solid cardio as well from Dennis Goltsov. Very strong for the division and amazing ground and pound. I mean, if he knocks you down with a body kick, with a head kick, whatever the case may be, and gets you down on the ground, he is vicious ground and pound as well, and most likely could finish you on the ground. But really good takedown defense and really good takedowns of his own as well. Really good wrestling and a really good grappling as well. Has very good submissions from the bottom with a lot of guillotines and a lot of triangle submissions from the bottom. But Justin Willis is a striker, 100%. Solid wrestling inside of the UFC with 1 takedown in every single one of his fights. With 66% accuracy inside of the UFC, but not the best takedown defense, which is definitely going to play a factor in this fight, 100%. At only 36% takedown defense, very good power, 4 knockout wins on his record, 100% a headhunter. I looked at every single one of his fights inside of the UFC, and every single time, 90% or more of his strikes were to the head, and then 5% to the body, and then 5% to the leg. So he is definitely looking to try to knock you out. Not going for the leg kicks, not really going for the body kicks, which I think will definitely be an advantage for Dennis Goltsov in the fight if the fight goes all the way. Because with the new scoring for the PFL, they're looking at the leg kicks, they're looking at the body kicks, they're looking at the body shots, whatever the case may be. They're looking at the total amount of damage inflicted to all parts of the body. And Dennis Goltsov will have the advantage there, having much better leg kicks, much better body shots, and everything like that. So I think if the fight does end up going all the way, Dennis Gosov will win the fight. I'm considering he has more weapons to use with the leg kicks, with the body kicks, and everything like that. But Justin Willis is a left-handed fighter and is an amazing, powerful left-hand knockout, and super good at landing at every single one of his fights. But Dennis, I mean, every single one of his fights that I've seen against Southpaws, he's done amazing, and probably is really good at using that head kicks against Southpaws, because they go for the left hand like this, and they leave their head wide open, and he just goes for the right head kick, right across the top of the head, and it works pretty much every single time, especially against Southpaw fighters, which Justin Willis is. So if he can time that head kick knockout win over Justin Willis, after he throws that straight left hand, and then counter it with a straight head kick knockout win on Justin Willis, that'd be an amazing way to win this fight right here. And then some pretty okay submission defense for Justin Willis in the fight. But overall, there will be the height advantage for Dennis Gosov. There will be the reach advantage from Justin Willis. There will be the power advantage. Honestly, I don't even know who will have the power advantage, considering they both have a lot of power in their hands and feet in terms of Dennis Gosov. But I think this fight has a humongous chance of going all the way. You see right here, I say Gosov is going to win the fight by a third round knockout, but I've changed my prediction. I think the fight will go all the way, considering Dennis Gosov has way more weapons to kind of deal with. The head kick, the leg kicks, the body kicks, the right hands down the middle, the uppercuts, the clinch, the elbows in the clinch, the knees to the body in the clinch. There's so many factors going for Dennis Gosov to win the fight, so I ultimately will be going with Dennis Gosov to go out there, win the fight in the clinch, win the fight at range in the striking game. He's done a lot of really good kickboxing skills, leg kicks, body kicks, everything like that. So I think overall, there is definitely a chance Justin Willis could get a knockout here with a straight left hand. But overall, I will be going with Dennis Gosov to go out there and win the fight by 30-27 on all judges' scorecards, and win the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. I mean, this fight's a really good heavyweight fight right here. Mohammed Uzman and Brandon Sales. Mohammed Uzman, 7 wins and 1 loss, 32 years old, 6 foot 1 inch tall, much smaller than Brandon Sales right here, who is 6 foot 5 inches tall and almost has an 80-inch reach. Very tall and very lengthy for the heavyweight division, with 5 wins and 1 loss. If you look at his career so far, a lot of knockouts and then a couple of submission wins, 4 knockout wins and then 1 submission win. Mohammed Uzman, amazing wrestler, just like his brother Kamaru Usman in the welterweight division, 7 wins and 1 loss. Coming off a decision win in Titan FC. Before that, first on TKO, a couple other decision wins and 2 Kamaru submission wins in the very first round. The really good ground and pound, really good wrestling. Everything about Mohammed Uzman really reminds me of his brother Kamaru Usman. Just the striking is not as good as Kamaru Usman's, but his wrestling, his grappling, his ground and pound, everything like that, 100% Mohammed Uzman is an absolute beast, an amazing wrestler. I mean, his Kimura submissions are really good, achieving 2 Kimura submissions in the very first round at the beginning of his career so far. He's so strong, especially in the clinch, and he has a really good trip takedowns and a really good double leg takedowns against the cage. A really strong heavyweight fighter as well, being the brother of Kamaru Usman. Amazing ground and pound shots as well, with really short, snappy elbows on the ground. At the beginning of his fights, he doesn't really go for the right hand. He just jab over and over again, to kind of sense the range of his opponents and eventually go for that double leg takedown or get the fight to the clinch. The really good top control as well. If he does manage to get you down, he's gonna keep it there, most likely for the whole entire round, and just ground and pound the heck out of you for the whole entire 5 minutes of that round. All finishes either coming by TKO and ground and pound or submission. So none of his finishes being in the striking game, and mainly trying to take you down, get the ground and pound knockout win or get the submission win. He's trying to smash you on the ground. That's what he's trying to do. But Brandon Sales, much taller, much lengthier of a fighter, is 6 foot 5 inches tall, very powerful, and 4 of his 5 wins coming by TKO, and then an Americana submission win as well. But he is, I believe, 39 or 40 years old, I believe. Yeah, just turned 40 years old around 2 weeks ago. So, and he hasn't fought in like 3.5 years. You look right here, his last fight 3 years ago against a guy that has a record of 1 win and 2 losses. A very solid front kicks to the body. Not really a fast striker, but a very powerful striker as well. He's obviously going to want to keep the fight on the feet, where he might have the advantage, might not have the advantage, but overall does not want the fight to go to the ground, because he's definitely going to have a humongous disadvantage in the wrestling, in the grappling, in the strength advantage from an absolute beast in Mohammed Uzman, who has a really good wrestling. So he's he's 100% gonna want to keep the fight on the feet 100%. But pretty decent takedown defense, pretty decent submission defense. But it's gonna be super hard for him to defend the takedowns from a guy like Mohammed Uzman, who's just so relentless with his takedowns over and over and over again. So strong. They're really good double legs, they're really good trips against the cage, and then amazing ground and pound. I think Mohammed Uzman is gonna get the takedown really early in the fight. Get him down in the first round, dominate him in the first round. Get him down in the second round, dominate him in the second round, and overall, I believe he will most likely get a TKO win in the first or second round. So, my prediction for the last fight on the prelims of PFL Week 3, the regular season, is Mohammed Uzman going out there, using his wrestling, his strength, his ground and pound, his submission skills, everything like that, to get the fight on top of Brandon Sales and land a buttload of ground and pound. And overall, Mohammed Uzman going out there and finishing the fight by first or second round TKO. After that, guys, we go to the main card of PFL Week 3 regular season with Gina, Fabian, and Laura Sanchez. Probably the closest fight on the tabloid predictions at 56% going Sanchez, and then 44% going Fabian right here. A really close fight on these tabloid predictions. But Laura Sanchez, very tall and very lengthy, 6 foot tall. You see right here, 5'9" tall. But I found out that height right here is very misleading, as she's actually 6 foot tall, just like Laura Sanchez, but a 74-inch reach as well. But Laura Sanchez is so tall, so lengthy as well. 1 win and 0 losses by first round knockout. Before that, as an amateur, going 5-1 with a lot of finishes and a lot of decision wins right there. She's 100% wanting to keep the fight at range, using her height and reach to kind of make it more of a kickboxing type of fight. Letting a lot of good inside leg kicks in the fight as well, and a lot of good body shots as well. Gina Fabian, really good Muay Thai skills. The advantage for her is gonna 100% being in the clinch right here. 2 wins and 1 loss. The 1 loss by unanimous decision to Bobby Joe Daniels. A first round knockout win over Mario Charneski, and then a second round knockout win right there. The 100% trying to keep the fight in the clinch and use her Muay Thai's high clinch background to go out there and win the fight by decision, or get that left hand knockout win. I mean, she's so powerful with that straight left hand. 100%. 100% of her wins coming by way of knockout in the first or second round. A very good hammer fist with her ground and pound as well. Very solid reach of 74 inches, and she is, like I said, not 5'9" tall, but 6 foot tall. Exactly. Former Muay Thai world champion. Obviously, she's gonna want to get the fight on the feet, and especially in the clinch as well. Really solid inside leg kicks as well. Her main way of winning her fights. I mean, I've watched most of her films that are going all the way to decision. And pretty much the whole entire fight is spent in the clinch with her just elbowing, knees to the body over and over again, using that Thai clinch, and just trying to keep the fight there, where she definitely will have the advantage in this fight. So, if the fight stays in the clinch for the 3 straight rounds, I'm definitely going Gina Fabian to win the fight by decision. But at range, that is where it gets really interesting. The main way she's going to win the fight, obviously, get the fight to the clinch, use that Thai clinch, and honestly, just keep landing those knees, keep landing the elbows, and win the fight by decision. But Laura Sanchez, really good striker at range. Solid straight right hand down the middle, really powerful. Good left to the body as well, and really good kickboxing as well. Really good leg kicks, really good body kicks, everything like that. And also has very good knees in the clinch, which will be good fighting a girl like Gina Fabian, who's gonna want to keep the fight in the clinch for the most part in this one right here. Very tall and lengthy. Trying to keep the fight at range and make it a kickboxing fight. But her main disadvantage would be in the clinch. I watched her last fight, her only professional MMA fight with Marianna Morris. In the clinch in that fight, she was kind of getting dominated and thrown around in the clinch, but at range, she definitely had the advantage in her last fight. But in the clinch, she had a clear disadvantage there. So in this fight, the clinch advantage will go to Gina Fabian, and the range advantage will definitely go to Laura Sanchez. The wrestling, the grappling, everything like that. I'm not really sure. Both of these girls haven't really shown any wrestling, any grappling in their fight so far. I mainly think the fight will stay on the feet and in the clinch, so I don't really think that the wrestling or grappling will play a humongous factor here. Mostly the fight will stay in the clinch and at range. But Laura Sanchez is a really powerful right hand and decent takedown defense and okay submission defense as well. This is another really close fight on the fight card. Again, the tabloid predictions are really close, 56% and then 44%. No betting us have been released for this fight right here so far. It's a close one. It's definitely a close one. But after watching Laura Sanchez in the clinch with her last fight with a fighter who honestly did not impress me with any of her fights, in Marianna Barber, I mean, her clinch work is not really nearly as good as Gina Fabian. And considering Gina Fabian, every single time she goes out there, manages to get you in that in that tight clinch, landing a lot of good knees to the body and a lot of good elbows as well. She pretty much does the same exact thing every single time, and her opponents haven't really been able to kind of overcome that clinch advantage that Gina Fabian brings to the table. So I think at range, Laura Sanchez will have a slight advantage, and in the clinch, Gina Fabian will have a humongous advantage there. So I think Gina Fabian will keep the fight very, very even at range, get the fight to the clinch as much as possible, and overall, I think the fight will stay in the clinch for probably around 10 minutes of the 15 minutes in this total MMA fight right here. So I think overall, Gina Fabian will go out there, clinch this fight up 100%, and overall win the fight by 29-28 in a really, really close decision win right here. So definitely have Gina Fabian winning the fight by decision. After that, guys, we have two wrestlers in the heavyweight division. Ali Isaev, 9 wins and 0 losses, 37 and a half years old, 6'3" inches tall, and an insane reach advantage for Ali Isaev, who is a wrestler with an insane reach advantage right there of 78 inches. Hatem Moyel, 10 wins and 4 losses, 34 and a half years old, 6'4" inches tall, so a little bit taller, but a lot less of a recent Ali Isaev right there. Both fighters are wrestlers. I mean, Ali Isaev with 9 wins and 0 losses, a lot of TKO wins, a lot of decision wins right here, 5 decision wins and 4 KO TKO wins on his record. Hatem Moyel, 10 wins and 4 losses, 7 knockout wins, 1 submission win and 2 decision wins. Also mainly going to be a wrestler and a grappler, trying to get you down and grind upon you. But in the wrestling game right here, I will give the slight advantage in the wrestling department to Ali Isaev. I mean, you look at these stats that he had last year inside the PFL. Absolutely insane. Inside the PFL last year, 2 years ago, since we had COVID, but 19 out of 23 takedown attempts inside of the PFL. I mean, he is really, really good at wrestling. The most takedowns inside of the PFL so far in 2019. A very strong wrestler, and if he cannot manage to get you down, really good clinch work and very, very good power in his hands. With 4 knockout wins so far, 2 of them being in the semi-finals, in the finals of the PFL heavyweight tournament. He actually won the $1 million 2 years ago. His ground strikes, I mean, it is absolutely insane. I was so surprised when I saw it, but just last year alone, with 5 fights inside of the PFL, landed 442 significant strikes due to ground and pound. Absolutely insane. I mean, every single one of his fights averaging around 90 or 80 significant strikes due to ground and pound. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. Hatem Moyel, a wrestler with some decent power as well. He either finishes his fights or gets finished himself with 7 knockout wins on his record, and every single one of his 3 losses coming by KO or TKO in the first or second round. He's also a wrestler, but in my opinion, he's not going to have the wrestling advantage over a guy like Ali Isaev, leading 19 out of 23 takedowns, and then 442 ground and pound strikes. Absolutely insane, but Hatem Moyel is mainly a wrestler, mainly tries to go out there and get the fight to the ground and ground and pound his opponents, just like Ali Isaev, so they're both very similar in the wrestling and ground and pound game. Good double leg takedown and has solid wrestling skills of his own. But obviously, I mean, Ali's gonna have the advantage 100%. Let's fix that right there. But the really hard, fast ground and pound shots, not from the bottom. I've seen only one fight where he was on the bottom and he did not really know what to do. I mean, he was getting dominated on top from his opponent. And I think Ali Isaev can do a similar thing right here. I think the wrestling is going to be very, very even. Obviously, I'm going to give a slight advantage to Ali Isaev in the wrestling department right here. He's a way stronger, way better in his double leg takedowns. In the clinch, I mean, he's going to land a lot of body shots and then go for the double leg, get you down, and ground and pound the heck out of you until he gets a TKO or until he just lands 442 ground and pound shots, which is just, I mean, it's mind-blowing how he's landing that many shots on the ground. But considering he's also going to have the 78-inch reach, a 3-inch reach advantage in the striking game. Definitely going to help him in the striking game as well. So I think overall, the striking game, the grappling game, the wrestling game, the strength game, everywhere I look at the fight, I have Ali Isaev winning. So I think 100% Ali Isaev will become 10-0 as a professional MMA fighter in the heavyweight division, and overall win this fight by 30-27 unanimous decision or get a TKO in the second round. But that should be a really, really good heavyweight fight right there. But definitely have Ali Isaev winning that fight 100%. And guys, we find finally made it to the main event right here in the heavyweight division by Fabricio Werdum and Renan Ferreira. I'm going to say right now, Fabricio Werdum is an absolute legend of the game. 24 wins, 9 losses, and 1 draw, and he's 43 years old. I mean, his last win against Alexander Gustafsson, everyone thought in that fight that Alexander Gustafsson was going to go out there and knock him out in the first or second round. I mean, 86% I'm going Gustafsson right there. I even had Gustafsson winning that fight. I mean, the age advantage, the height advantage, the reach advantage. I thought he would keep the fight on the feet and get a knockout, get the win by decision, whatever the case may be. But even at 42, 43 years old, Fabricio Werdum showed he still has what it takes to submit the best of the best in the heavyweight division. I mean, absolutely insane. But you look at his resume. I mean, he's beaten so many guys. Gabriel Gonzaga, Alistair Overeem fighting Antonio Rosario Nogueira, Andre Arlovski, Gabriel Gonzaga again, Brandon Vera, Junior Dos Santos, Antonio Bigfoot Silva being the first person to really beat Fedor Emelianenko, fighting Alistair Overeem yet again, Roy Nelson, Antonio Rosario Nogueira again, Travis Brown, Mark Hunt, Cain Velasquez, Stipe Miocic, Travis Brown, Alistair Overeem yet again, Walt Harris, Marcin Tybura. I mean, he's been fighting so many amazing competition inside of the UFC and inside of Strikeforce and inside of all these other promotions like Pride at the beginning of his career so far. I mean, a former UFC heavyweight champion beating Cain Velasquez by third round submission. But I mean, the man's an absolute legend of the heavyweight division. But look who he's fighting, an absolute freak of nature. That is 100% what Renan Ferreira is. You look at his height and his reach. Oh my God, 6 foot 10 inches tall. And an 83.5-inch reach. I mean, who is that tall and that long in the heavyweight division? I mean, absolutely insane. And he's only 31.5 years old. It's just insane, man. How tall and lengthy this man is. It is just absolutely insane. All of his wins coming by finish, 5 knockout wins, 1 submission win, and out of his losses, 1 being by DQ, had to punches to the back of the head, and the other being a submission loss to Vinicius Mejia by armbar submission right there. Armbar submission. You look at how many submissions that Fabricio Werdum has by armbar or triangle armbar, whatever the case may be. Fabricio Werdum is really good in those armbar submissions, especially from the bottom. I mean, the man's an absolute beast with those armbar submissions. So that is definitely going to be a main weapon. I mean, he's just got an armbar over Alexander Gustafsson. So this is going to be a really good fight right here. I don't even know, man. I know the betting odds and the tabloid predictions are going Werdum to win the fight, but in my opinion, I think the fight is a lot closer than a lot of people think for this fight right here. Fabricio Werdum obviously is going to have the wrestling, the grappling advantage on the ground, but Renan Ferreira having the height, having the reach, having the power in his hands. I mean, his right hand is just so powerful. I cannot help but think that this fight could definitely go Renan Ferreira's way, and he could get a knockout, could win the fight by decision, and defend the takedowns from Fabricio Werdum 100%. I'm going to say right now, do not get mad at me, but I put right here, in my summary right here, that I did have Renan Ferreira winning the fight by decision. I'm going to switch my prediction right now. I know it's a super close fight in my opinion. I think there's a very good possibility that Renan Ferreira wins the fight. I think the betting odds, in my opinion, would be Fabricio Werdum at minus 160 and then Renan Ferreira at plus 130, somewhere around that range. But definitely if Fabricio Werdum is like a minus 200, minus 250 favorite, something like that, do not bet on Fabricio Werdum, especially with the height, the power, the length of Renan Ferreira and the takedown defense of Renan Ferreira. But Fabricio Werdum, 100% a grappler. Obviously, really solid grappling skills, beating all these guys right here. Absolutely insane. 43 years old, beating Alexander Gustafsson, 12 submission wins. Really good arm bars and triangle chokes and all these different types of submissions. A legend in the heavyweight division, 100%. Trying to get the fight to the ground as soon as possible and get a submission in the first or second round. Renan Ferreira, the complete opposite, with a 6 foot 10 inch height and 83.5-inch reach, trying to keep the fight on the feet, 100%. A lot of power, 5 knockout wins out of his 6 professional MMA wins so far. His only real loss coming by armbar submission. Again, Fabricio Werdum really good at that armbar submission. Super powerful leg kicks. Watch his fights with Jared Vanderaa. I mean, the calf kicks on Jared Vanderaa, I mean, they were so devastating. He almost knocked down Jared Vanderaa with leg kicks. I mean, his leg kicks are super powerful as well. I mean, straight right hand is also very good. Awesome ground and pound as well, especially with the elbows. Once the fight is taking the feet, I mean, obviously, fighting Fabricio Werdum, of course, you want to get the fight on the feet, and very good sprawling abilities and takedown defense as well. I'm saying it right now. The striking advantage obviously went hand over hand with the height advantage, the power advantage, the strength advantage in the striking game, the age advantage in the striking game, the speed advantage in the striking game. Everything in the striking game is pointing towards hand over hand to win the fight. If it was a kickboxing fight, hand over hand would 100% win the fight. But it is an MMA fight, and we got Fabricio Werdum gonna wrestle, gonna grapple, gonna do these things, trying to get the fight to the ground. And we. Sorry about that, I had a little burp there. But we all thought in the fight with Alexander Gustafsson that Fabricio Werdum would not be able to get him down because just like Hanif Fajeda, Alexander Gustafsson is also a very long, lengthy fighter in the heavyweight division. And nobody thought Alexander Gustafsson was going to lose that fight. We all thought that he was going to keep the fight on the feet, keep it at range, and do exactly what a lot of people are thinking that Hanif Fajeda is going to do right here. But Fabricio Werdum ended up getting the takedown and got that armbar submission in the first round. I'm not confident in either fighter winning here. I think Hanif Fajeda has a humongous chance, in my opinion. The betting odds, as I said before, minus 160 for Fabricio Werdum, and then plus 130 for Hanif Fajeda. I don't know, man. It is a close fight. In the comment section below, put who you guys think is going to win this one, because it's a close one, man. I know a lot of people are obviously going to go Fabricio Werdum. I'm also going to be going Fabricio Werdum to win the fight, but I would not bet on Fabricio Werdum, especially if the odds are minus 200, minus 250, somewhere around that range. But I think Fabricio Werdum ultimately will get a lot of takedowns here. We'll get the fight to the ground as soon as possible and grapple and wrestle for 3 straight rounds and win the fight. A 30-27 unanimous decision, but I cannot help but think that Hanif Fajeda is going to keep the fight on the feet, defend some of these takedowns, and possibly get a knockout, and possibly just keep the fight on the feet and win a decision win. Really close fight here. I'm actually back and forth. I know a lot of you are very confident in Fabricio Werdum, but I'm actually very back and forth in who I'm choosing for this heavyweight main event right here. But ultimately, I will go with the slight favorite, in my opinion, in Fabricio Werdum, as we go out there and dominate this fight on the ground and get a 30-27 unanimous decision. Do not bet on this fight. Do not bet on this fight. That is my only advice right here. But I definitely have Fabricio Werdum winning the fight by unanimous decision right there. After that, guys, I mean, this is a pretty simple prediction on paper with Kayla Harrison and Marianna Morris. Obviously, Kayla Harrison, I mean, probably the only person, in my opinion, that has a relative chance other than Chris Cyborg to actually beat Amanda Nunes in the featherweight division. I mean, she's an absolute beast in the prime of her MMA career at 30, almost 31 years old. Very tall, very lengthy for the division as well. 5'8" tall. Very, very good judo as well. I mean, you look at how she wins her fights. 3 knockout wins, 3 submission wins, and 2 decision wins. The double champion inside of the PFL in 2018 and in 2019. Absolutely insane. But you look right here, the 2016 Olympic Games in judo and the 2012 Olympic Games in judo. She won both of them, going undefeated in judo, becoming the 2012 and 2016 judo gold medalist. I mean, she's absolutely insane. The best judo in the entire world. Uses that to get her opponents down and either TKO her with ground and pound or get the submission in the first or second round. But I mean, Kayla Harrison is just an absolute beast, 100%. Marianna Morris, 16 wins and 10 losses. You look at the record, you're like, whoa, my God, that is a horrible record. But look at the opponents that she's fought so far. Vanessa Mello, Norman Amon, Lara Procopio, Vanessa Porto, Ariane Lipsky, Cara Rosa, Roxanne Modafferi, Jennifer Maia. I mean, a lot of really big names that have been inside the UFC and have been inside of Bellator, but you notice she lost to every single one of the fighters that I just mentioned, losing to every single one of them. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. But she's been fighting since 2012. That was 9 years ago. She's 25 years old. You subtract 9 years from 25 years old. That is 14 years old fighting as a professional MMA fighter. I mean, that is just insane. She's been fighting since 14 years old. I mean, that is just insane, guys. But a lot of submission wins from Marianna Morris. I'm getting a first-round knockout win in her last fight inside of Shootout Brazil. Be looking right here, 8 submission wins, 4 knockout wins, and 4 decision wins. I mean, it's pretty obvious who's going to win the fight. And Kayla Harrison, obviously, beast in all facets of the game, especially in judo. Amazing judo skills. Gold medalist in 2012 and 2016 Olympics. A lot taller than our opponent. And then a 4-inch height advantage as well. well. Amazing judo. Is trying to get her down. Trying to ground and pound the heck out of her and just grind on Marianna Morris for 3 straight rounds. Try to get the TKO to ground and pound shots or get the submission in the first or second round. Again, the only threat in my opinion, besides Chris Cyborg, to Amanda Nunes is Kayla Harrison. Because that's one thing that Amanda Nunes has never fought. She's fought really good strikers, really good submission specialists, but she's never fought someone with the best judo in the entire world, like a girl like Kayla Harrison. So she's the only girl in my opinion that has the smallest chance of actually beating a girl like Amanda Nunes. But Marianna Morris has a buttload of experience, especially for only being 25 years old. But it's going to be really hard for me to pick Marianna Morris when you got Kayla Harrison fighting her. I mean, absolutely insane. Let me switch that right there. Fighting since 14 years old, absolutely insane. Fighting all these different fighters. Most of her wins coming by submission, mainly from the bottom, and then a lot of power in her right hand as well. The main way I really see Marianna Morris winning the fight would be by submission from the bottom or a big right hand in the striking game. But there's one thing I really noticed with the striking game from Marianna Morris. She does not throw straight punches. She throws really big whooping punches on her opponent. And when you throw big whooping punches, what does that leave you vulnerable to? If you miss that big right hand, it's an easy double leg. I mean, Kayla Harrison is going to be licking her lips after she throws that big right hand. If that right hand misses, I mean, Kayla Harrison is just going to go for the double leg and get right under and get that takedown super easily. Then ground and pound, go over submission over and over again. That is one thing I really saw as a really big disadvantage in the fight for Marianna Morris, is she really overextends and throws a big looping punches, not straight punches, which she needs to throw against a girl like Kayla Harrison. But in this fight right here, Marianna Morris doesn't really have much of a chance other than landing that big right hand or getting a submission from the bottom. So those are the only ways I really see her winning the fight. But overall, obviously, I'm going Kayla Harrison to go out there, use her judo, get her down over and over again. I'm going to dominate her on top, getting TKO wins. Sorry, not TKO wins, getting ground and pound shots over and over again. I'm going for submission after submission, and most likely winning the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision, or finishing the fight in the first or second round by second round submission or second round TKO. But 100%, I have Kayla Harrison 100% winning that fight in the co-main event for PFL 2021 Week 3 regular season. But that should be a really good co-main event right there.